Right, this is something I've been working on for a while, actually installing Ubuntu Linux on my netbook. What I wanted to achieve was a dual boot system. Obviously on the top here we have Ubuntu Linux 2.6.38.11 generic version, recovery mode, XP, which is a bog standard Windows XP. That's my recovery partition there for XP if I want to do a system restore. What I did, I've actually got a 1000 HE PC based around the Intel Atom N280. What I did is, you have to be careful when you actually partition the drive, because you've not only got XP on the hard drive, you've got a little Norton Ghost recovery partition as well. On the 1000 HE EPC, they give you a hard disk D for you to put any additional programs on. What I did is I took that partition, shrunk it down using gparted, and then formatted that to ext4 under Linux. After that partition, I created a swap partition for Ubuntu. You generally want to create a swap partition which is double the size of your computer's memory. So I've got 2 gig of RAM in here. I've therefore created a 4 gigabyte swap partition after drive D. And then after the swap partition, I've then got the Norton Ghost recovery partition, which I've untouched on here in case I want to restore XP back. So what we're going to do, we'll have a look at Ubuntu. It's one of the more popular Linux distros. Right, that was grub bootloader, the little boot screen. Right, we're just booting into Ubuntu now. Takes a while. As I say, Ubuntu does come on a live CD, so if you want to try it out, you can just simply burn it onto a CD. Go into your PC's BIOS and set the CD drive as the first bootable device, and it will boot off a CD. That will allow you to test it. If you're happy it works with your hardware, you can then actually install it, and I would recommend you use gparted because it's free partitioning software. It will also let you shrink your hard disk partition down. Right, let's get into my password a minute. Right. There we go, we're into Ubuntu now. This is the Ubuntu desktop. It does differ from the older versions of Ubuntu a little bit. You've got the little slide bar here. It looks very kind of like a Mac really. I'm sure you agree. Have Firefox here. You can install Chromium browser as well. Have to say I was a little disappointed that there was not Maxon 3 browser available for Ubuntu. You can only get that for Windows and Android phones, but having said that, you know, I can live with Firefox, although on Windows it's a bit of a bloated bit of crap now, but there you go. What I did to customise my grub bootloader for booting XP in Ubuntu, that's what we saw at the start of the video, where you could select which OS to boot. I actually found a program called grub customiser. Now, if you're not sure about having to edit your grub config, you want to download grub customiser because it will allow you to select which OS boots first on your machine and what order, and if there's any past Linux updates which you don't want shown in the bootloader, you can omit those as well. As well as grub customiser does also allow you to include a boot menu, which you saw at the start of the video obviously. So what we're going to do, launch grub bootloader, asking me for my administrative password. Right, grub bootloader will now load now. Now, obviously these entries down here you see, this is still loading the configuration at the moment. You see a little progress bar going along, so we just wait till that's completed. Right, we're almost there now. It's getting there. There we go. Obviously, anything with a tick here is going to show up in grub any past kernels you don't want to show up, you can just basically untick them basically. So that's fairly straightforward, isn't it? I'm sure you agree. Preferences, click preferences here and go to advanced. There's a lot of Linux users who've installed Ubuntu who don't know how to basically configure which OS boots first on their machine. The best way around this, you don't have to rearrange your menu or anything. All you've got to do, you'll notice in grub customiser, we're in settings on the advanced tab. There's an entry known as grub default. So the grub default, the value for that I've set to 2. That will means it will select the second entry on my grub boot menu, which was the menu you saw at the start of the video when we selected Ubuntu for it to boot. Okay, so and that will basically ensure that the cursor is highlighted on the second entry in the grub boot menu, which was obviously Ubuntu. Obviously you've got other things here. You can set the grub timeout. I think that's to do with how long it takes before it will boot an OS without any user intervention via the grub boot menu. There's a lot of queries regarding some people about how you go about selecting a background in the grub bootloader. Obviously using grub customiser you can also select this as well. And in grub customiser we have an entry here, background image. You just click that, select a picture you want grub to display in the background for your boot menu. It will then copy it into the grub folder under Ubuntu, and bingo, there is your boot menu. So overall very useful. As I say, I've spent days and days trying to read forums on how to configure grub. This takes, you know, everything on a complete different level, makes it a lot easier. Everything's automated. So that's grub customiser. I'm going to show you a program now called Ubuntu Tweak, which is another useful little program. You can use this to delete past Linux repositories to free up a bit of space on your hard drive. So we'll launch that now. This is just loading. I'll just minimise that down. Ubuntu Tweak, here we go, booting up. Welcome to Ubuntu Tweak. Right, okay. Yeah, I don't know much about this program, but I've read on some forums that it has a package cleaner, and this is what I've used when I've installed Ubuntu updates. Any past packages you want to remove will be listed here. Obviously it's non-listed here at the moment because I've basically deleted them, but if you have any packages listed here which are redundant and you want to clean up through past Ubuntu upgrades, you go down here, click unlock, you then enter your admin password, you then select the tick boxes here which package you want to remove and just select clean packages, and it will basically then remove those from the system. Obviously as well as doing that, it also tidies up the grub bootloader that way as well. Anyway, that's 2 useful programs for Linux, which is grub customiser for customizing your grub bootloader, and also Ubuntu Tweak, which has lots of useful little features for maintaining your Ubuntu system. I have to say, out of all the Linux distros that I've used, this one is undoubtedly the best. Even a version of KeyPass for this, for all my passwords under XP as well. Runs fantastically. Would strongly recommend you have a go of it. Have a go with the live CD first, see how you get on. If it works with your hardware, you can use gparted, repartition your system, create a swap partition, and away you go. You can then go and install it, and grub will take care of doing the bootloader for you. Hopefully that grub tutorial as well is also going to help you configure grub as well. Thanks for watching, and I shall see you in another video very soon. Goodbye.